Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell, lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Maberry, and I'm here with Lee Cockerell, of course. And last episode, we had special guest Liz Wilcox, and she's back again because we did not really get into Liz's story, and it is as fascinating as what we talked about last time. Liz is here again, Lee. So before we bring Liz back on, what did you think of the talk with her last week and hearing about your book being all the way out in Fiji helping her with Survivor?
Well, I love it when people love me, and especially they love and my book. And it was a good conversation. I think again, having these conversations helps both of us to understand the impact people make on each other, and never underestimate that. That's how I always talk to people. I say, when you get up in the morning, take a deep breath and behave yourself all day because you're going to interact with people, and they already have a lot of problems. You don't need to make them worse. Try to think about making them better. And I talk of that behavior of not forgetting who you are. And that was a good conversation. Somebody the other day, I said, I go to the same coffee place every morning. It's Colombian Coffee House, Coffee for the Soul. Somebody says, why do you go there? I said, because they love to see me. And they say, and they even give me a free coffee sometimes. But, we all like to go to a place where people are happy to see us. And we need to make sure that we're that person instead of them seeing you and running out the back door because they don't want to see you because you're such a tyrant. And so when I wrote the book, Customer Rules, I asked my granddaughter, what's the most important thing in customer service? At that time, she was 12. Now she's married and living in New York. But she said, well, Pappy, the most important thing is to be nice. Bingo. Boy, that we need a lot of that around. We need to bottle that and get it out to the world because it's in short supply right now. Just be nice. Be nice to each other and don't make their life worse. We got enough problems
Yeah.
already.
Well, speaking of nice, let's bring Liz back. And I'm going to tell the story of how Liz and I met because it's relevant to what we're going to talk about. But first, hi, Liz. Glad you're back.
Hey friends, I'm so honored to be here twice. That's crazy. I'm Dear Diary. Today I Yeah, I'm so honored. I'm so excited and I'm excited for you to tell how we met because it's a fun story.
It is a fun story. I was speaking at a conference in, I may get the years wrong. I think it was 2019, somewhere in there. And after I gave my presentation, Liz came up. We had never met before. She was in the audience. She came up and we connected because I had been a park ranger. And at the time, she was an RV blogger. So she traveled the country in her RV and she wrote about it, built a whole business around that. Well, Liz and I think we maybe became connected on social media, but kept in touch here and there, but went a long spell without being too active in keeping in touch. And I saw her again at another conference, and I was speaking, and this time she was speaking, and she went from an RV blogger to having this incredible business based on one thing. She was known then and now as the Fresh Princess of email marketing. She built a whole business, and I think you'll love this, Lee. She built a whole business around a $9 a month membership. So when I first met her, she hadn't started it. Between then and the next time I saw her, she had the idea, built it up. I think at that time she had maybe 2,000 people enrolled. And then I think Liz will correct me. It's more than 4,000 now. It's just incredible that she found this one little niche, serves people exactly what they want for an affordable price, but great quality and does really well. So, Liz, how in the world did that happen?
The membership?
Yeah, that it was
Yeah.
such a neat idea.
Yeah,
Even
well
the
thank
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it really goes back to, knowing your people, right? I think something Lee says is, make people your brand, right? And if you're not seeing the video, I've got a bunch of like 90s nostalgia in the background. I'm wearing like a Christmas cap, and the majority of my people are millennials, Gen X, or they were parents in the 90s and early 2000s. And so that's a nostalgic feeling. You guys, I teach email marketing. Ew, email. Right? Who wants to write an email? Yeah, but when I made the people my brand, right? Like, hey, let's have some fun with this. I know who you are. I know who I'm talking to, is when I realized, oh, well, my people actually just need something low cost because they're just getting started. I knew my people, they're not, they haven't been in business for a decade. They've been in business maybe 0 to 3 years. So that's where that pricing came from, right? Knowing the people, knowing what they wanted and what they could afford. And then, knowing their problem was, oh, I can't write a newsletter. We mentioned in the last episode, Lee wrote a newsletter to his to the people that worked at Disney, right? Not everybody wants to do that. But I do. I'm like, Lee, I love, I write like I talk. People seem to like it. Hey, maybe I'm good at this. Maybe, like that person that told Lee, maybe you should write a book. Somebody said, well, maybe you should just write these emails for me. And so that's where I came up with the idea of the membership. But really, it was just, again, making the people your brand, letting them decide on the product. It wasn't, if it was up to me, who knows what I would have created, right? But I let it, be up to the people. What are the people telling me? What are they asking for? Where are they, they're voting with their dollars. So what are they spending money on, right? And then at the end of the day, again, something that Lee says in his book is eliminate hassles. It's a hassle to write a newsletter, right? And so I said, well, not for me, baby. I'll write newsletters all day. And I've been doing that for, at the time of this recording, nearly 5 years. Haven't missed a week at all. Again, we talked last episode about being reliable, right? And like Jody said, we've got over 4,000 people now, and I just could not envision a more beautiful life for myself based on this product. And I love helping people. We mentioned last episode, I have a degree in leadership, right? So I'm not, I don't like I like the one-on-one, but I know that I can lead a lot of people at once. So again, that $9 price tag, I knew I could attract a lot of people with that. And now, I have thousands of students, and the impact, it just lights me up. It's unbelievable.
Impressive. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, yeah, when you think about that, ideas and turn out to, when you think about them, so simple that we forget that, yeah. And knowing your customer, I thought that was, yeah, no, there's a market for old people, young people. There's a market for people who live here and there and are in small business, big business. I mean, we were talking the other day with my grandson about how many markets there are out there. That some people that only like to go on cruises, or people who only, it. So if you can define that like you have, there's people sometimes just think there's a half a dozen markets. There's hundreds of different markets. People who like to do podcasts, people who like to, Jody and I have not missed a Tuesday in 10 years either. So we agree with you on the reliability. People actually tell us they look forward to Tuesday, which, and the first one comes in from Australia, that part of the world, because they get it first. And so it's a lot of fun, and good for you by not getting too complicated in your thinking, but thinking about what do they want, what would help them.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. I think if we're talking about leadership, one of the things you've got to do as a leader is keep it simple for your people, right? It's a simple price, it's a simple offer. Even sometimes, oh, well, Liz, do you think you could dot dot dot? No, because I love you. That's not what you need, baby. Like that, that's going to complicate it for you. Let's stay on this path, and when you're ready to graduate to that, then I'll show you this, right? So keeping it simple, I think, is a superpower that leaders should, utilize more often, right? I think it's
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's
when you
true. I mean,
complicate
you're really,
things,
yeah, you
yeah.
got simplicity. And that's why I think, when we talk about good attitude and reliability, that's simple. If you can do that, maybe you could fix your business right now, somebody out there in the world. Or if you treated people more respectfully and told them how great they were, they might not quit. You talk about the simplicity of life. I said, I tell my wife I love her every day so she doesn't leave. I don't want any turnover here in my personal life.
I love that. I don't want any turnover. That's
People
so
ask me
funny.
all the time. They say, "Lee, how you doing?" I say, "Well, Priscilla hadn't left me, and nobody in the family's on in rehab, so we're doing pretty good."
Amen. Amen. And yeah, speaking of turnover, I have a membership. So of course there's turnover. And anytime I go to look at the churn, at the turnover, I bring it back to the basics. What is missing, and usually it's a feeling. Oh, Liz, they need to know that you care about them. They need to know that you value them, that every single member is important to you. And it's true, especially at $9. I need all of you here with me, right? And so anytime I feel like, oh, our churn, our turnover is a little too high, I go back to the basics of, how can I make people feel better? What email can I send today to make them know that I care about them, to make them know that I want to know about them? And I'd like to do live calls. For $9, I'm not on a call every single day, but when I'm on a call, I'm on the call. I'm looking at that little green dot so they see I'm looking at them, right? I'm paying attention. They can see I'm taking notes, right? And I'm asking them clarifying questions, and that's something that the members who have been with me for nearly 5 years say, Liz, you make me feel like I matter. You know my business, and I can't believe you do that for $9. And I say, I love people. I love people. That's why I like to serve for the $9 because I can serve a lot of people. And I've done the work on myself and for the business to be able to provide that impact for people. And it really is what Leah's saying, just simple, just loving on people, making them feel valued, telling them I love them so they don't leave me, right?
Well,
Etc.
at Disney, we had the same thing. We get hundreds and thousands of comments from the guests. They write letters. And back in
Mm-hmm.
the old day, they would write a letter and we'd screw around for a couple of weeks and finally get back to them. And then it got to the point we made a decision we put a big calls group together, 50 or 60. Now when we get a complaint, they call the guest and it blows them away. They're so blown away they sometimes can't remember why they had a problem. You'll hear them in the background saying, "Oh, it's Disney calling." So the simplicity, I mean, and you see it, it's getting worse right now. I mean, with AI, it's getting really worse. It's getting,
Yeah.
is this a person I'm talking to? What's going on here? It's getting to where you don't even want to answer the phone because you're sure it's some scam or something. And so companies who can figure out what did you learn from people who decided to drop out? What are kinds of things they said to you?
Yeah, usually, I'm not using it enough. Email, because my business is around email. Email isn't something that I've decided I'm going to go down the path to. And just like Lee, sometimes I'll get on the phone because in my mind, email has changed my life. Y'all, I grew up incredibly poor. I lived in a one-bedroom trailer with 7 people. Right now, I'm looking beyond my camera and I can see the bay, right? I live in Florida. I'm living my dream life. And that is possible because of email marketing. So when I hear from my customers, well, I'm just not going to do email. It hurts me. It's like, wait, no, this is your path to freedom. This is your path to choice. This is your path to agency. And I will ask them, hey, do you mind if we get on a call? Just like Lee. And again, they're blown away that I care so much. And it's true. I'm like, no, and with love, I just want to shake them like, no, wait, come back. I must have missed something. I need to tell you this, right? Um,
Yeah, it's a pride
and
factor with you. It's right.
a little bit, perhaps, but I just know that it really truly the power of email has changed my life. When I met Jody, I was living in an RV. I had my blog and it was, mostly successful, but I knew I wanted more. And I knew it was mostly successful because of email. So when I realized I had something to teach people, when I realized, like, hey, I can actually get behind other people like me and push them towards the goals they say they have. I take that very seriously. I love my work. I have so much passion for it, and I have passion for my people. And so when they say, "Oh, no, I don't want to go down this path," I want to make sure that is not a decision that they're just making because it feels hard. Because again, we talked about simplicity. What am I missing? What can I say to make this simple for you? What can I learn about you? Because if I really mean it that my people are my brand, what do I still have to learn? I think that's another principle that Lee teaches, always be learning, be in learning mode. And so it's like, well, what else do I have to learn? Of course, there are going to be some people that, just drop off, but I really care and I really want to make sure you have a good experience and you feel confident moving forward, whether that's with me or someone else. The same way, now Disney calls you, they really care. They want to know what the experience is so they can fix it. And I feel the same way.
It's like this is who you are. You can't. You're trapped. You can never get out of being. You can never get out of caring.
Yeah, I
That's
always
the
say
problem.
that you can't out care me.
The
You,
curse
you
of
know,
caring.
Yeah. I care so deeply for my people. And I
Good for
find,
you. Yeah.
thank you. I find, my passion comes out when I can help elevate others. Right. And you can even see me in the video. Like, I feel like my, chest is opening, my shoulders are more broad. Like, yes, let's go. I'm very excited. My personal definition of success is to just be an example of what's possible. And so
Bingo.
I just want, it's not money, it's not caring, being able to care for XYZ people. Of course, that's important to me. But, it really is. I just want to show you what's possible. And so for me, that means getting out in front and leading.
Do you ever have those days when you're not excited or not?
Well, I do have a lot of food allergies, so sometimes that does give me fog. But I feel like, that sounds like a weird thing, but I find the only times where I have that, defeatist attitude or, oh, I don't want to do this is honestly when I'm physically unwell. Because this really truly is, like Lee said, the curse of caring, right? It really is, a purpose I have in life, whether it's going, it's email today, it's something different with my children and my family. But I just love people so much. And I just want us all to be in this together and succeeding and whatever that looks like for that individual person.
But you hit a big one there, which you can always talk about more with people is if you don't feel well, you don't do very well. And I talk about that a lot these days of sleep is the number one problem people are having in the world. And then they wake up, they don't feel good, and so they do other things like eat the wrong thing, and then they don't feel good again, and then they drink beer and wine at night, and then they don't get on this big circle, and that's the key. If you feel good, you do good, and it's I would think that most people, as you probably know, you've got to do that on purpose. Take care of yourself. And
Yes, we talked a lot about intentionality in the last episode, right? And it's, for me, the last couple months, I've been off sugar. right? So, because I know it's just not making me feel good. And even with
Exactly.
my students, I teach email marketing, but sometimes with my students, I can see them on camera and they're wearing their pajamas. And I tell that, when you look good, you feel good, you do good. I love you. Get dressed. Like how are you supposed to send this email to get this brand deal or to sell to your customers if you're wearing what you wore yesterday? Like right now I have, I'm wearing this cap, but again, that's knowing my brand, right? Knowing my people. But to me,
Yeah,
this is my work uniform. I always have something on my head, whether it's a headband, a cap, um, and I'm wearing socks and shoes right now. My shoes are laced up. It's very to me, it's very important, because like Lee said, when you feel good, physically and mentally, you do better. You do better work.
absolutely. And you have control of that. Those are all good lessons that maybe a lot of your listeners need to hear so they can pass those lessons on to their children.
Amen. Okay, yes.
You know, maybe they don't like the $9, but it might save their kids from living in the basement for the rest of their life.
Amen.
So yeah, that's great. Well, I love your attitude. I love the way you think about this, and it's yeah, knowing you're making a difference is one of the best feelings in the world. I mean, it's amazing. People say, I know cheesecake is good, but feeling good, feeling like you're making a difference. And but getting off sugar, by the way, I can tell people, and you probably know that you can do it in 10 days. I mean, if you get off of it, you don't even want it anymore. And I got off it too. And my wife has got more candy and chocolate and cake in this house, which I don't even want anymore. And the way I got off of it was having cantaloupe and pineapple chunks and things like that in the fridge that I could just give it to my brain, believing it was sugar. You have to trick your brain for a while. And I quit
You
drinking
do.
too, but it took me 7 times, so it's not always easy.
It's not, but all the
Work.
things that are worth it
It's
require
worth
a
it.
little bit of work.
I think that's a good one right there. I always tell people, "Hey, well, should I do this? Should I do that?" I said, only one question you got to ask is it worth it? Whatever you want to do or not do, is it worth it? Are you willing to take the consequences of not doing it or doing it? And it's just a good question. Is it worth it?
I
Is it
love
worth
that.
feeling good every day? Probably.
Yeah, amen. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's another lesson I can bring back to my students too, because a lot of people with email marketing, and I'm sure we have business owners listening of, yeah, it's just one thing off the to-do list that keeps getting knocked down. But is it worth it to be able to have that direct line to your customers, to be able to have that more personalized experience? For me, it's worth it because for every dollar I spend with email, I make about $255 in return. Yeah, that's where I'll get my butt in the chair and I'll send you an email and I'll, ask for that $9 every single time. For sure, for sure.
And $9 is pretty cheap for a psychiatrist, so that's pretty good. You got that.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Go to lizwilcox.com.
Call me. That's what I tell people too. Yeah, I do marriage counseling. My wife says sometimes I need it, but I also have been married for going on 58 years, so I'm feeling like maybe I know something about this. My mother was married 5 times, by the way.
Oh,
And when
wow.
you talk about poverty, my mother grew up in Oklahoma in the oil fields. They lived in a
Wow.
tent. And then I think about how she overcame that. And then I grew up in a house with no indoor plumbing. And I look back, everything looks good now, when you think about those things. And
Right.
uh, and it's achievable. And you're proving that. And if you think better, you'll do better. So good for you. Thanks for being on with us again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
I've got a couple of things to add as we exit here. And Liz, imagine that growing up without indoor plumbing, and then you end up Justin Timberlake's neighbor. That's quite a change.
But
Wow, you really made it, Lee. You made it, Lee.
he didn't want to meet me though. That was disappointing. Maybe he did, and I just wasn't available. I'll just put it that way. Maybe it made me feel better. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. Liz, I want to share something with you that Lee shared with me. The first time Lee ever invited me to stay at his house while I was in Florida, it's hot. To me, it is really hot in Florida. And we went out somewhere and I had on t-shirt and shorts as someone not from Florida would do when they're there. And Lee's wearing dress pants and a button-up shirt. And we go out again and I think, oh, Lee's wearing pants. I should put on pants, but I wore a short sleeve shirt. And then I finally that night I said, Lee, everywhere we go, even if we run to the store, the coffee shop, you're dressed in dress pants and a button-up shirt. Why do you do that? And he said, because you've got to be ready. I said, ready for what? He said, I don't know, but I'm ready for it.
They
And
I
say,
he,
love
don't
that.
get ready, stay ready. That's why you buy a fire extinguisher before the fire.
yeah. And I've that has stuck with me ever since. It completely changed the way I do it. I also want to point out that when you hear Liz tell her story and then Lee talk about Disney, there are similarities because Liz and her small business and Disney and that massive business, they have found their people, they have found their purpose, and they care and will do anything they can to fulfill that purpose. With Disney, it's to make sure you have the best vacation of your life and they will do anything to make sure that happens. And I haven't asked Liz directly what the purpose is, but you've heard her say it. She will do anything to make sure you start sending email and get the most out of having an email list. And Lee and I have, well, Lee has an email list and we're pretty active with what we do with it. Not as active as Liz is probably, and as Liz would recommend us be to be. But Liz, I'm sure this has stirred up some people saying, my goodness, I've got to find out more about Liz Wilcox and her $9 membership and what all she's up to. Where can we do that?
Yeah, of course, I'm an email marketer. I would love for you to join my list. So thanks for that setup, Jody. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. There's a hot pink button. You can't miss it. You're going to be able to download some templates to get you started, a welcome sequence, some newsletter samples, and 52 subject lines because writing from scratch totally sucks. I already mentioned I love doing this stuff. So let me write it for you. lizwilcox.com, hot pink button.
One more question, Liz. If
Jody
you
will
were,
probably join up. He likes somebody else to do his work for him. So that's, yeah.
Liz, I've been a member for years, years. Yes, you do great work. I have one more question for you, Liz. If you were going to book a vacation, and it's always great to have someone else do the heavy lifting. What would you do if you needed to book a vacation? Would you do it yourself?
No, I always say anything worth doing is worth outsourcing. So I would ask Jody, where can I get an amazing travel agent? Do you know of
That
anybody?
that is a great question, Liz. You can call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. You can reach them at 407-442-2694. And if you loved these two episodes with Liz, certainly let us know. I'm going to call Liz out on one thing on the way out. Last episode, we talked about how she was on Survivor. She hinted at it was her lack of fire making ability that got her off the show. And I've always wondered, Liz, and I know I said this to you as soon as we talked after you were on Survivor, how can you be best pals with a park ranger and then go on Survivor and get out on fire? That is just, I don't comprehend it, Liz.
Sounds like
You
it's
know,
Jody's fault that you couldn't do that.
yeah, thank you, Lee. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, really.
Thank you. I take no responsibility. Honestly, we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. I feel like that was an Achilles heel of mine that I didn't see coming. So thank you so much for bringing that up before we end the call and I go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Well,
I'm
Liz,
kidding. I'm
it's
kidding.
it's my way to say, look, I'm here for you. If you want to learn how to make fire, we can do it.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
All
Well,
right.
I'll be
Well,
in Washington soon. Thanks, Jody.
there you go. Find Liz. She is fantastic. And until next week, go out and create magic for others.